Okay, we'll look at some of the homework problems that are in section 5.1. We'll start with problem number 1, where it says find the opposite or the additive inverse of negative 27. Okay, pretty much when we find the opposite, all we're doing here is just simply changing the sign to the opposite. So if we have negative 27, then the opposite or the additive inverse of negative 27 will simply be 27. Okay, so just simply change the sign. All right, number 2 is to evaluate the absolute value of 25. Now, the absolute value is defined as the distance that number is from 0 on the number line. In this case, 25 is 25 places to the right of 0. So that means that the absolute value of 25 will simply be 25. And keep in mind that absolute value is never going to be negative. It's always going to be a positive number. In problem number 3, we want to add using the number line. We're going to add 6 and negative 3 together. And here you're given a number line, so here they want you to plot the point at the sum of 6 and negative 3. And the way you're going to have to do that is that you on the MyMathLab, they're going to ask you to move this dot to the right and then to the left to get to the final answer. So here, if we want to plot the sum of 6 and negative 3 together, now you have to think of this. You start at 0 and go to the right 6 places for a positive 6. And then we're adding negative 3, so that means starting at 6, you're going to go back 3 places for negative 3. And you'll end up at this point, which is 3. So here, the point would be at 3 to represent 6 plus negative 3. And then number 4 is to subtract by changing subtraction to addition. Here we got negative 7 minus negative 9. In this case here, we're subtracting negative 9 from negative 7. So here there is a rule: when we subtract integers, we always add the opposite. So here, we're going to bring over negative 7. Our subtraction will change to addition, and then we're going to take the opposite of negative 9, which is simply going to be 9. So now we have an addition problem of negative 7 plus 9. So the rule for subtracting integers is to add the opposite of the second number. So now negative 7 plus 9 will give you 2. So negative 7 minus a negative 9 will give you an answer of 2. Okay, let's look at problem number 5. Now here they want you to write an addition fact that corresponds to the following sentence and then answer the question. All right, here's the sentence. On 3 consecutive passes, a football team gains 7 yards, loses 40 yards, and gains 50 yards. What number represents the total net yardage? So here we want to first write an addition fact that corresponds to that sentence. Now here, on 3 consecutive passes, a football team gains 7 yards. So that's going to represent a positive 7 or just 7. And then plus we lose 40 yards. So that's going to be negative 40. Notice I'm putting the parentheses around the negative 40 to separate the plus sign from the negative. And then gains 50 yards. So that's going to be a plus 50. So the addition sentence that they're looking for, or the addition fact, would be 7 plus negative 40 plus 50. And then from that, we want to find out what the total net yardage is going to be. Well, we can add all the positive numbers together. Add 7 and 50 together, you're going to get 57. So now you have 57 plus negative 40. And then we go ahead and use the rule for adding integers with different signs. We can subtract 40 from 57. That's going to give us 17. And 57 is a larger absolute value and it's positive, so the answer has to be positive 17. So the total net yardage is going to be 17 yards. All right, next problem is to write an addition fact that corresponds to the following sentence and then answer the question. In this case here, Kyle's credit card balance is $417. He sends a check to the credit card company for $82, charges another $128 in merchandise, and then pays off another $270 bill. How much does Kyle owe on his credit card? All right, let's look at the addition fact that we have. Okay, he starts up with a credit card balance of $417, so that's going to be $417. Then he sends a check to the credit card company for $82. So here, that's going to represent a payment of $82. That's going to be taken away from the balance. So that would be $417 plus negative $82. And then charges another $128 in merchandise. So it's increasing his credit card balance. So it'll be a plus $128. And then pays off another $270 of the bill. So he's decreasing his credit card balance by $270. So that's plus negative $270. So this would represent the addition fact that's corresponding to that particular situation. 417 plus negative 82 plus 128 plus negative 270. And then to answer the question, Kyle owes the company how much money? Well, let's do this. Add all the positive numbers together. Add 417 plus 128, and you're going to get 545 plus, now I'm going to add the two negatives together. Negative 82 and negative 270 would be a negative 352. So now we got 545 plus negative 352. So here we're going to subtract 352 from 545 since the signs are different. That's going to give us 93. And the higher absolute value is positive, so the answer has to be positive. So in this case here, it's $93. So Kyle owes the company $93. All right, next problem, number 7, is to simplify. Here we got 5 plus 2 minus 15. Well, let's do the order of operations. The first thing we do here is to do the addition first before subtraction. We have to do all additions and subtractions in order from left to right. So here, 5 plus 2, we do that first, that's 7. And then we have 7 minus 15. Well, we're subtracting a positive 15, so here we can change that to addition and then add the opposite of 15, which is going to be negative 15. So now you get 7 plus negative 15, which would give us negative 8. So here, 5 plus 2 minus 15 is negative 8. Right, number 8 is to write a subtraction problem that corresponds to the question and an addition problem that corresponds to the question, and then answer that question. The temperature is 76 degrees Fahrenheit and is supposed to drop 27 degrees Fahrenheit by midnight. What is the expected midnight temperature? All right, now let's find out what the subtraction problem is going to be. Well, we start off with a temperature of 76 degrees, and then it's going to drop 27 degrees by midnight, so here it will be 76 minus 27. That's the subtraction problem. Now we want to write the addition problem that will correspond to that question. Well, we got 76 minus 27, so the rule for subtracting is adding the opposite. We're subtracting 27, so that means we're going to take 76 and add to it the opposite of 27, which is negative 27. So here we'll do 76 plus negative 27. So here the expected midnight temperature would be, in this case, if we do the subtraction here, this will be 49 degrees. So at midnight, the expected temperature would be 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, got 2 problems left. Take a look at number 9. Well, you want to simplify the expression. Here we got negative 2 minus, and in parentheses, 6 minus 3x. In this case here, we're going to have to use the distributive property here. In this case here, that minus sign is going to change the sign of each and every term inside the parentheses to the opposite. So let me bring over the negative 2 first, and then that minus sign will make the 6 minus 6, and again the minus sign will make that minus 3x plus 3x. So you can think of this as taking negative 1 and multiplying it by 6, and negative 1 and multiplying it by the minus 3x. So now you get negative 2 minus 6 plus 3x. Well, let's combine some like terms here. Negative 2 minus 6. That's negative 8. And then bring over the plus 3x. So here, negative 2 minus, and in the parentheses, 6 minus 3x would be negative 8 plus 3x. And then finally, number 10 is to solve the equation and check the solution. Here we got negative 5 plus x is equal to 25. Okay, and I'll work the problem down here. Negative 5 plus x is equal to 25. Okay, x is being added to negative 5. Well, the opposite of a negative 5 will be a positive 5. So, in this case, to get the x by itself, it would be easier to just add 5 to both sides of this equation. Now, adding negative 5 to 5 is the same as adding 0. So, negative 5 and the plus 5, that's going to give me 0. That's going to leave me with just x on the left side. And that's equal to 25 plus 5, which is 30. So here, the solution here will be x is equal to 30. Now, if you want to do the check, we take negative 5 plus our proposed solution, which is 30. That should equal to 25. And if you add negative 5 plus 30, you would get 25. And that does check. So x equals 30 would be the solution to this particular equation. Okay, so that should be enough to help you with some of the problems that are on the MyMathLab for Section 5.1.